So good morning. We are supposed to discuss today's lecture, that is semiconductor device, the basic introductions of the semiconductor device. So to doing that, particularly you have to understand what is semiconductor device. Okay, semiconductor device particularly we are talking about the semiconductor. This is called the two term. One is semiconductor. Another is conductor. Okay. So that when I am supposed to talk about the conductor, I think you have the physics background. That conductor means which conducts the electricity. If the conductors are basically we are supposed to iron type of bars, if we can consider, and if I consider another material, that is copper, these are majorly conductors type of. Why conductor? Because they flow the electrons very fast. Okay, they can flow the electrons very fast, and the different type of materials, another different type of materials that are called insulators. So what is the difference between this conductor and insulator? So we have to understand these two difference. The basic difference between the insulator and the conductor is that the conductivity of this material is very high. Conductivity of this material is very high, and the insulator, the conductivity is very low. Okay, and why? What is conducting? So you are talking about the conducting term. So who is conducting? So majorly, if you can try to understand these things in the semiconductor device, in the device particularly, you have to understand the material first. Material. Then the devices with that particular material devices. To do that, what type of materials are there? Different types of materials we can see in the particularly in our earlier days chemistry background. So we can understand that in the periodic tables we can get the different types of materials. Or sometimes the atoms, different types. So different where the periodic tables situated, according to that the different type of materials or different type of device can be created, and with that materials and devices will give you an idea that how this device will be created. If it is insulator or it will be a conductor. Okay, to make, when we are supposed to a semiconductor device, nowadays you can very much familiar with the PN junction diode. We are using the diodes, we are using the transistors. Okay, then CMOS. We can know the device supposed to be a memory devices. So these are different types of devices. We have already understand the materials first, then we are supposed to understand the devices. Different type of devices like memory devices, PN junction diode devices, transistors, MOS circuits, even the ICs, all type of ICs. Those are talking. We are talking about current days. Those are different type of devices, and those devices, to make this particular device, we need different type of materials. Okay, and this materials will comes to give us a conductivity. According to that conductivity, if materials will be designed, and we are creating the different type of devices. Okay, so when we are talking about the different type of semiconductor devices, the devices are various types of device can understand, as I discussed in the last previously. So transistors we are familiar with. Okay, MOS. There is memory devices. There are logic, digital logic circuit, digital memory, switch, So these are different type of semiconductor device we are using current day. Even if you can consider about with this particular transistor, MOS, memory, digital memory, switches, these are all different types of semiconductor devices. In this particular course, we are trying to understand mostly different type of materials, then there with this particular different type of materials, the band gap, band structure, band theory, then different type of MOS transistors, then we are supposed to try to design devices like semiconductor devices. Okay. So these all are basically semiconductor devices. For that, we have to understand the band theory, band structure, transistors, and the devices that are made by with this type of materials. So semiconductor devices when we are supposed to talk about the semiconductor devices, so the device physics has to be understood first very carefully. So when you're supposed to understand the device physics, we have to understand the little bit of physics background and chemistry background, because the SP model of the, you have to understand the model of the atom structure. So if I take examples, I think in the previous physics and chemistry background, you have already gotten idea. So this is the positive ion, this is the ions, and these are the electrons in the sp orbitals. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p, like that. Okay. So this is the chemistry background, I think you have already. So we have this particular model, but what does it replicate actually? This replicates the structure of the atoms where the electrons are situated. Okay. If I am talking about this, where this is situated means that particular atomic structure give you the idea about how this atoms has been created.